on the morning line. The guy's got him figured at 5 to 9. But make it epitaph, he wins it by a half. According to this here in the Telegraph.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, and along with Drew Forster, we're going to go through the Saturday, May the 16th races at Hastings. But of course, all eyes will be on the second jewel of the Triple Crown, the Preakness Stakes, held in Baltimore, Maryland. American Pharoah trying to see if he can do it.
Hopefully he can, because it creates such a buzz in thoroughbred racing when you do get a horse that's live going into the Belmont. Only a field of 8 this year in the Preakness. Just a few horses came out of the Derby, a few new arrivals, and one horse that has been running at Pimlico that we'll try and...
quite a few of them skipped the Preakness and are heading to the Belmont.
Yeah.
There's
all the
materiality.
The
Pletcher horses are skipping. So I mean, usually it tapers down from 20 horses to 12 to 7 in the Belmont. I think this year it's going to be the 20
probably
or the 18 that we had in the Derby to 8, and maybe back up to 10 or 11 maybe for the Belmont. But American Pharoah we will touch on that race a little later on. But
3:18 our time is post time.
3:18 will be post time for a great card at the Preakness or at Baltimore, Pimlico. If you can't make it out to the track, of course, come right here to the Derby.
Yeah, we still have room, so get your reservations in early. 536-2978.
Okay, on to the first at Hastings. We do have a field of 6 $8,000 claimers set to do battle over 6.5 furlongs.
Pretty salty dash.
It is. I went to the 4 Leos in the house. He's coming out of a tough Lorne 500 Bear Rock and Roll race for 16,000. Actually, a couple of them are exiting the same race. I just thought he didn't get any position in that race. He was taken out of his comfort zone. I think he'll get into his comfort zone in here and maybe be the speed of the race. And I'm just hoping that's what's going to happen, because I look for the pace. Stormy Canuck's not really speed. Honestly, Ossifer shows speed sometimes, but they're taking the blinkers, or put the blinkers back on. Maybe he'll show a little bit more speed. Jordan's Quest, Say Fabulous is route speed, and Wise Boss is kind of 4,000 speed, which is a different kind of speed. I know, fractions are kind of similar, but it's a little different. But I'm going to try Leo's in the house with Antonio Reyes, maybe to get back in the winner's circle. I think he's good enough to win at this level. I put the 2 horse, honestly, Ossifer. Once again, blinkers back on. They tried him without the blinkers for his first run this year. That didn't work out, and he is dropping in class as well. And we'll get Pedro Alvarado, who will be certain to get him out of the latch and get him in play. And I put the 3 Jordan's Quest in for 3rd. Didn't love this race. I couldn't pinpoint one. I love this one. And I don't have one, but I went 4, 2, and 3. But you can make a case for a few of them.
Yeah, I had a tough time with it too. I haven't landed on the 1 Stormy Canuck.
I can see him.
Yeah, Mark Cloutier claimed this horse back at the end of last year. Mark had him for most of his career, where he was running for much higher. Yeah, had a lot of success with him. I like the way he's been working coming in. Nice minute on April 23rd, and then 1:12 and 4 for 6 furlongs on May 9th, just about a week ago. So I like Stormy Canuck. I think he's coming in sharp, even though he hasn't run. Some of these horses run, so they have the racing edge. But with the back class, I like Stormy Canuck. I put Wise Boss in the 2nd spot. That was a big run on opening weekend. Wired a field of $5,000 non-winners of the year. But a good ride by Mark Buchanan. And this horse can be dangerous when he gets on the lead alone. And if there's no other speed to go with him, he could be gone. And I put Leo's in the house, your top pick. Another one. I wasn't impressed with his last race, but it was a much saltier race against Lorne 500 and Bear Rock and Roll and Iskar, so he's in definitely with a shot. I went 1, 6, and 4 in the first. On to the second. Fillies and Mares, non-winners of 2, non-winners of 3, BC, bred for 16,000. We have the same horses here, just a little bit different order. I went with the 3, Attack 'em April. Mike Anderson's off to a firecracker, red hot start, batting 30% right now. They just all seem to be running good. Broke his maiden, her maiden, I should say, at Phoenix, in a maiden optional 30, which is their version of a maiden special weight. Then came back into 10 non-2 because there are no other non-2 races down there. So Mike had to drop this filly down in for 10 non-2. She got beat by 2 Obvious, who's a decent horse down there. Then showed up here in this same condition and ran a very good race ahead of Catalia and made no mistake, won pretty easy. So she's got a lot of upside. Only ran 4 times and just the one third, you know. 4 starts, 2 wins, a second and third. So I think she's got a lot of upside. Mike's going well. Richard Hamill retains on Attack April. And the other 2 are the 2 that are dropping out of that Dear Lily race. They look very tough in here. I put Habita in the second spot, the 6 horse for Pat Jarvis. I think she'll run a big one in here, and Fire Beauty of the Mel Snow Barn. Another one, they were dropping down out of there, and Fire Beauty was pretty close to that hot pace that Dear Lily set, so she could be very live in here too. I went 3, 6, 5, but I can see them coming in any order, but those are the 3 I like.
Yeah, I agree with your top 3. I just went to Fire Beauty to win. I actually went to the horses that are coming out of the top 35,000 optional that featured Dear Lily winning in 10 and change. You know, that was a salty race. Fire Beauty got bounced around leaving the gate in that race. I think this horse the 5 horse Fire Beauty will get a better, you know, beginning and will be in play. This horse will be on the lead or close to it, I think. I like Fire Beauty a lot in this spot. I put Habita in for second and Attack April for third. I don't have a lot to add. Those are your 3 horses in this race that look pretty solid at the 6.5 furlong distance, but I like Fire Beauty to win it. 5-6-3 for me. On to the third race. Got some fillies and mares. 12-5 claimers in here, and I was pretty impressed with the 2-horse CAMS. And I'm going to follow her back. I know it was against easier company. They protected her that day. She did run away and hid with lots in reserve. This horse won with authority. This horse has some back class. This horse was cut out to be a little bit better horse. Was claimed for a fair amount of money there back in 2013. And you know, has some issues, but I think she's good enough to win here. I put the 1-horse Dream Baby in for second. She's making her first start of the year. David Lopez rides for the hot Mike Anderson barn, and works are good. And I can see her winning it for our good friend George Morgan, good friend of the Derby here. And I can see her being a real force in this race. And I put the 4-horse Lady at War for third. Might be a little better going farther distances, but the horse didn't run all that long ago, back in January actually in Portland. But good string of works for Sylvia Gregory, who's off to a good start. But I think those are your 3 horses. I left Curious Gal out, you know, but I can see her maybe getting in play. But I do like CMS. I think this horse is really alive. I went 2, 1, and 4.
I did go with Curious Gal just because I think she's kind of the only speed in here. DS Yvonne might try and go, but yeah, Dream Baby shows speed in the past, but
Curious Gal is fast.
She's down on the rail, so Curious Gal, Hamill's going to have a good look because he's on the outside, so he's going to get to kind of choose where he places her. But if she gets on the lead herself, she can be very brave. 11 for 16 lifetime in the money. She's won 3 at this distance, and she just got blistering speed. Anytime when she's dropped down to this kind of level, she ran much higher earlier on in her career. When they dropped her down to the 16, 12, 5 level, she's always right there. So I got her on top. Of CMS, your top pick. Another one, Jon Snow going very well right now. As you mentioned, Antonio Reyes retains the mount. That it was for 5,000 opening weekend, but she did it so easy that I don't think
there's lots in reserve.
I don't think the jump's going to really bother her.
No.
And Dream Baby, those are the 3 horses I see, 6, 1, and 2. But I got Curious Gal on top of CMS and Dream Baby. 6, 2, and 1 for me in the third. On the fourth, 3-year-olds and up, maiden 4,000. I've gone to the 6-horse Fort Vancouver out of the Troy Taylor barn. Well backed, heavy favorite in his last. That was for 8,000, that Regal Legacy race. Regal Legacy came back and ran good. He drops in for 4. David Lopez aboard for the Troy Taylor barn. And I think Fort Vancouver is more than these horses can handle. I put the 4 Turn My Crank in the second spot. The first time starter, he shows up for 4,000. The other ones kind of have shaky form, but the fact that Mike Anderson's going so good right now, everything that's leading over there is firing. So I'm going to put...
he's clicking right now.
Yeah, he's clicking on all cylinders right now. So I'm going to put Turn My Crank in the second spot. And Harrison Hope out of the Robbie Anderson barn. I like the rider move to Antonio Reyes. He must have saw something that he liked here. And a well-bred son of Free Quarter Time. And she's had some good runners to the races by finality. And I'm just waiting for this horse to wake up. I'm thinking maybe the rider change will do it. I went 6, 4, and 2 in the fourth.
Yeah. I've gone. I agree with the 6-horse. Fort Vancouver is your horse to beat. I'm going to put her in the second, or put him in the second spot. I mean, this horse ran against tougher company. Typhoon Taylor came out of that race, who ran off the board, but Typhoon Taylor came back and won. So the race has some obviously it strengthened that particular event, and he's not facing a tough field in here. But I'm going to take a shot on the 9-horse, Cowboy in Command.
Yep.
Taking a big drop from 25,000. This horse had no shot in the last race, got hung 6 wide. The race was a schmozzle going into the first turn, and this horse took the worst of it, was taken right out of it, really wasn't persevered with by Alex Marty, and gets Keyshawn Balgobin. I like the comeback work in 47, and I just, for something different to put in, might be 8 to 1, 10 to 1, I don't know what the price will be, but I just think this horse on the class drop
should have some upside with it.
I think this horse gets the lead.
All around cowgirl, yeah. The mare could really
got a lot
really
of
fast.
speed,
Yeah.
and I just think the horse might be able to get the lead. If this horse gets the lead at this $4,000 level, this horse could scare him a little bit. But I agree with the 6 Fort Vancouver. The horse is live and has a big chance. I put the 1 Irish Victor in for third. Was a little green early. Made up some ground late in a pretty fast heat. It was won by Similkameen Luke. I think that horse might be worth following as well.
Yeah.
But I went 9.
Three-way trade came back and won out of that race too. Yeah.
No, yeah, straight to good point. 3-way trade easily won last weekend. So got beat by a couple pretty good ones that day, but needs to this horse was green away. Once the dirt hit him, he was wide, like on his own, like 3 or 4 wide. Was a little green with everything, and this horse needs to be a little more professional. The rail might not help, but I still think the horse is better than a lot of these horses. Yeah. But I'm going to take a shot on the 9-horse here, Cowboy in Command, and I put the 6 Fort Vancouver in for second, and the 1 Irish Victor for third. On to the 5th race. We do have some $4,000 older runners going 6.5 furlongs. Ended up landing on another 9 here. Ruby's Victory making his first start in a while. Only had the 1 run last year, and obviously didn't fare all that well. Moves to the Bill Connick Jr. barn. Pretty live outfit. Works are good. I don't love any horse in here, but I just think this horse has got to be respected. This horse has some ability. Obviously has some problems, but still is a horse that I think you got to have on the ticket. Put the 2-horse, Art Kill in for second. I just think this horse might get a pretty lively pace to run at. He was kind of taken out of his comfort zone last time. There was no pace on it. Laid second. Was up in the fray early, and I just think he likes to be held back early and make 1 run, and I think he's a better horse right now at his advancing age of 10. I think he's better suited to maybe make 1 run. That will get him, I think, more money throughout the year. And the 6 horse, I don't roll on Chabos on the class drop. He had to face him pretty fast. Him and Lookout Dubai were going crazy on the head end, and he succumbed and ran way back. But no Lookout Dubai's in here. I think things will be a little easier on the pace. But I like 9, 2, and 6. But I'm leaving out Mr. Cactus, who's coming out of a conditional race.
Kind of a non-3 race.
It's a non-3 that he didn't win, but he did scratch last weekend, and that was not due to soundness or anything. But he's in a non-4 here, but he could make his presence felt as well. But I went 9, 2, 6.
I did go to Mr. Cactus. He is out of his condition here. There was a non-3 he was in, but he got beat by a very tough horse, High Force, out of the Dino Conolinas barn. He was taking a huge drop. So no shame in losing to him, and he did finish ahead of Promise Glory, who came back and dusted a field of non-3. So I think Mr. Cactus is live in here. I went to Ruby's Victory, the one out of the Bill Connick barn, as you mentioned. Ruby's Victory in the 9-hole with Antonio Reyes up. Been running for much higher his whole life. He's got enough speed too in the 9-hole. Maybe Reyes, I think, will get him involved early and get him good position. And in the 3rd spot, I went to the 3 Mary's App of the Jim Brown barn.
Yeah, it's got a shot.
Yeah, kind of a hard knocking old horse, and Jim Brown's off to a very good start. His horse has been running very well. I put Mary's App with Mark Buchanan aboard in the 3rd spot. 4, 9, and 3 for me in the 5th. On to the 6th. Go through all these pages here. On to the 6th. Fillies and Mares.
Good.
Non-2, non-3, 8,000. And I went to the 8. She's going to be your favorite here. Elusive Lily out of the Anita Bolton barn. Ran against some tough horses in Attack 'em April. We see show up earlier on in the card, and Catalia, and that dropped down to 8,000. I think she's going to get the lead alone, and I think she's going to be gone. I put the 3 Queen Militant. Good second at this level. Led the whole way. Just got beat by DS Siobhan, but good solid effort. Sylvia Gregory's horses are fit, and they're running well earlier on in the season. Ryan Pacheco, her regular rider, will be aboard. In the 3rd spot, I put Tulipia. First time started last time out of the John Snow barn. Did run for a maiden 4,000, but absolutely crushed a field. Won by 9 1/4, and I see a lot of upside with her, and fits in, I think, well in this spot in the non-2-8 category. So John Snow going good. I put her in the 3rd spot. I went 8, 3, and 2.
I don't have a lot to add. I agree with the 8, Elusive Lily. I think she either wins by a bunch or doesn't run well. She is on the class drop, but I mean, she's the class of the
more
race,
talented
and
than these.
she's better. She had to hook into Attack April, and Catalina came and snagged her for second, but I mean, Attack April was the best horse, and she's in the first race today running against a lot better company. But I like Elusive Lily to win it. I agree with Queen Militant. I thought it was a pretty good run against, Dia Saban got through on the inside, but this horse was game all the way down the lane.
Yeah, she was.
She might get a good pace to run at. She was on the pace, even though a slow one last time, but I think there's more speed in here with the 6, Charming Silver, the 7, Quiet Finality, the 8, Elusive Lily. There is pace in here. Talipia, and even I'm a Diva 2 has shown speed in the past, so the pace should be lively, and it will likely help the 3-horse Queen Militant. So I got her in for second. I put the 5, Moonride. Kind of a wide journey a bit, last 3/8 of a mile, and it was running okay, but it was his first runs in a while, and I think Moonride will appreciate the race under her belt, and I think she'll be a little better as well. Richard Hamill rides, as you mentioned, for Mike Anderson. 8, 3, and 5 in the 6. On the 7th and final, got some $4,000 condition claimers, non-winners of 4 lifetime or non-winners of the season, going 6.5 furlongs. I'm leaning to the 7, Clarice B. A little suspicious why she's in the race, but for 4,000. But she's a little win machine, and she knows how to visit the winner's circle. Her work tab's good. Hall of Fame trainer Frank Barabee. I got to go with Clarice B to win it. Put the 6, Princess Zeta, in for second. Close out the season with back-to-back wins. Probably a better route horse than a sprinter, but her work tab has been excellent in preparation for this race. Keyshawn Gobin has ridden her in the past and will ride. And I put the 3-horse, Catching Cash, a horse that just absolutely had a horrendous start. Doesn't really show on form, but this horse broke horrible. It broke about 4 lengths slow, rushed up 3 wide to get the lead, and obviously had to tire late, and couldn't match strides with Rachel Run. But this horse did a lot of running early. This horse breaks well, could be a bit of a price. I put Catching Cash in for third. I'm going to go 7, 6, and 3 in the Saturday finale. I
agree with Clarice B on top. For 4,000, she should be just outclassed this field. She was running in our starter series last year, and she was favored. And, she won a pile of them, and was favored in the big one at the end. And she ran a good 4th behind Fair Command and Jazz Unlimited, Sacred Delight. Shows up this time for 4,000. So that's the only question: is
why? Because there is another starter series.
So she could run for 8.
Like she could have they could have protected her to run in the starter series later on, but choose to run her for 4.
That's the only question mark, but if she's right, she's your horse to beat. Yeah. I put Honey Skill in the 2nd spot. I like the fact that she's had an out. It was a good second behind Rachel Run, and she's one of these fillies that just loves to hit the board, right? She has a lot of seconds. She's got 6 seconds lifetime, so Honey Skill is a hard-knocking old mare, and I put her in the 2nd spot. And I gave her a slight edge over Princess Ada because she has the race, but Princess Ada is very tough when she gets down to this level, too, and Barb Heads is off to a very good start with her runners as well, so I got her in the 3rd spot. I went 7, 4, and 6 in the nightcap. That'll do it for our race analysis. Up next on screen will be our picks. Mike, as always, you're up first.
Okay, we'll head off to race number 1. Ended up on the 4-horse. Leo's in the house. Went 4, 2, and 3. In the second race, went to the 5, Fire Beauty. I really like this filly. I think her will run very well. I like 5, 6, and 3. In the third race, went to the 2, CA Miss, and another mare. 2, 1, and 6. A lot of filly and mare races today. The fourth race went to the 9, Cowboy in Command, hoping for a bit of an upset over the 6, Fort Vancouver. 9-6-1 for me. Fifth race, number 9, Ruby's Victory, over the veteran campaigner number 2, Arkill. I went 9, 2, and 6. Sixth race went to the 8, Elusive Lily, over the 3, Queen Militant, and the 5, Moonride. And in the 7th and final, went to the class dropping number 7, Clarice B, over the 6, Princess Zeta, and the 3, Catching Cash.
Up next will be mine. There we go. In the first, I went to the 1, Stormy Canuck, over the 6 and the 4. In the second, I went to the 3, Attack M April, over the 6 and the 5. In the third, I went to the 6, Curious Gal, over the 2 and the 1. In the fourth, I went to the 6, Fort Vancouver, over the 4 and the 2. In the fifth, I went to number 4, Mr. Cactus, over the 9 and the 3. In the sixth, I agree with Mike on the late double. The sixth race, I went to number 8, Elusive Lily, over the 3 and the 2. And the seventh, number 7, Clarice B, over the 4 and the 6.
That'll do it for the Hastings 7 races. Of course, the Preakness Stakes is on the program. It'll be the 13th race at Pimlico, the second jewel of the Triple Crown. And I'm going to head to the 1-horse American Pharaoh. I think that's obviously not a great pick, but I mean, I'm going to follow up. I like the 4-horse Danzig Moon last.
Yeah.
In the Derby. I was not crazy about the ride I got. Obviously
he had a pretty rough trip. It's tough when there's 20 horses.
I know, but he was laying way too close, which ended up being a blessing because I thought there was going to be a crazy pace, and there wasn't. So I was handicapped the race kind of wrong, taking a 30-1 shot. But I just thought maybe this horse would get a better pace to run at. But the connections choose to run him back in the Preakness, so I'm going to follow him, as well as the 2-horse Dortmund. I think those are your 3 horses. I left Firing Line out, which probably might be a mistake, but American Pharoah just looks so good winning. The time wasn't great, but I don't see anyone else that's, any newcomers that are going to change the outcome of the race. So I've gone 1, 4, and 2.
I got a pretty pedestrian picks here. I went with the 3 favorites. American Pharoah. As you mentioned, the time wasn't that quick, but there's more in the tank, and he can only beat what he can see.
Yep.
As the old saying goes, they run against horses, not against a clock.
2:03 wasn't a great Derby time, but
it's not a great Derby time.
All he had to run.
Yeah, he did what he had to do, and I don't think it knocked him on his butt. I think
you're right.
There was still more left in the tank, so I look for American Pharoah to win this. I flip-flopped the way it came in the Derby. I think Dortmund's going to run a big one. I think 1.25 miles might have been a bit far for Dortmund, and I think just that little knockback.
16th, it might help.
That little knock of the 16th of a mile back might help him, keep him in the second spot. And Firing Line, who ran a huge one. The thing about Firing Line is I thought he had a perfect trip in the Derby, and he got a perfect ride by Gary Stevens. Gary Stevens gave this horse every opportunity.
He's a knack for giving perfect.
Yes, he does, and he gave this horse every opportunity to win, and he still got beat by American Pharoah. If something turns out a little bit different, I think Dortmund can get ahead of him. I went 1, 2, and 8 in the 140th running of the Preakness.
It should be a lot of fun. Should be another great Saturday for all us thoroughbred racing fans. Once again, if you can't make it out to Hastings, and please do come on here. You're in the South Surrey area. Come on out to the Derby Bar and Grill. It's going to be a festive atmosphere. Lots of specials going on. Of course, tons of TVs to watch all the races on. And of course, the 140th running the Preakness will be front and center, as well as all 7 races from Hastings.
If you need reservations, we still have room. 604-536-2978. Give us a call. And Chef Andy's putting on a big spread that day. The Triple Crown races are always a party here, so if you can, make it out.
Okay, on behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in to Handicappers Corner. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.